The forest floor is a mosaic of damp oil and sun-drenched patches of moss. Still, in a world that existed more than 1,000,000 years ago, life is a constant negotiation. A young one, his laughter is sharp, bright sound in the humid air, chases a beetle with iridescent wings. He is small, barely the height of a grown man's thigh. His movements quick and sure. His people, the clan of the tall trees, are a variation of early humans perfectly suited to this isolated world. They are Homo floresiensis, a branch of hominid history written on the strange canvas of this island. His mother, her eyes dark and watchful, works nearby, her skilled hands digging for tubers with a sharpened stick. A simple piece of primitive technology that is the key to their survival. The air is thick with the smell of wet earth and decaying flowers. A scent so familiar it is the smell of safety itself. But safety is an illusion. It has become a threadbare blanket, worn thin by a series of quiet, inexplicable sorrows. Last moon, it was another's child, a girl who wandered to the stream's edge. Before that, a boy who chased a lizard just beyond the clearing. They vanish. There are no screams, no signs of struggle, just a sudden, piercing silence where laughter used to be. The clan grieves, their calls echoing through the canopy, but the forest gives back no answers. A primal fear, cold and slick, has begun to coil around the heart of the community. The adults now move in tighter groups. The children are never out of arm's reach. The forest, their provider, has become a place of whispers and shadows. The unique endemic fauna of this island has always been a known quantity. The pygmy elephants, the giant rats. But this is something new. This is a predator that does not hunt the way a tiger does. It is methodical, patient. It is watching. It is Lo, an elder whose face is a roadmap of seasons and sorrows, who finds the first clue. Her own child was the first to be taken. Many rains ago, she carries that silence with her. While foraging, she finds a small, crudely knapped dead stone scraper, what a child had been learning to make. It lies beside a deep, wide furrow carved into the mud, a drag mark that speaks of immense weight. It leads away from their clearing, a straight, deliberate path into the darkest part of the undergrowth. She follows, her heart a cold stone in her chest. The trail ends in a place of tangled roots and depressive shadow. The smell of rotten old meat hangs heavy in the air, and then she sees it, lying in a patch of sunlight. Utterly still, is a reptile of impossible scale. Its skin is a chainmail of grey and yellow beads. Its head is as large as her torso. Its legs thick and bowed, tipped with scavenger's claws. It is the apex of the island's prehistoric animals, a monitor lizard grown to the size of a crocodile. As she watches, hidden by the ferns, the great beast's throat triples. It opens its jaws, then a long, forked tongue, yellow as sulfur, tastes the air. Lost is not just a predator. She sees an intelligence, a calculated strategy. It is not hunting them for food in desperation. It is farming their young. The most vulnerable have become a reliable resource. These ancient humans, these intelligent ancestors, are not the hunters here. They are the prey. Lori turns not as a forager, but as a harbinger. She carries no food, only a terrible weight in her eyes that silences the clan's low chatter. She does not need elaborate language. Her body tells the story. With gestures carved from terror and grief, she becomes the monster. She hunches low, her hands clawed, her tongue darting out to taste the air. She drags a heavy branch through the dirt, recreating the deep furrows she found, the track of the beast. She points to the smallest children, then sweeps her arm toward the deep forest. The meaning settles on the community like a shroud. This is not a random threat. This is a targeted call. They are being farmed. The great reptile, a terrifying example of the island's megafauna, has learned that their young are easy prey. This changes the fundamental anthropology of their existence. They are no longer just residents of the forest, but a managed resource for its alpha predator. A wave of impotent fury surges through the males. They grasp their fire-hardened spears, their stone axes, the ancient tools of their people, and beat their chests. It is a display of defiance against a force they cannot possibly defeat. A single one of those creatures could shatter their line with one sweep of its tail. Na watches this display of doomed courage, her expression unchanging. When the rage subsides, leaving only the bitter sediment of fear, she acts. She walks to the base of the colossal ironwood tree that stands at the center of their clearing. A titan whose upper branches are a world unto themselves. She looks up, her gaze tracing the thick, interlocking limbs high above. Then she points. The clan follows her finger. Their faces a mixture of confusion and disbelief. The canopy is a place of refuge, of temporary safety, but it is not a home. To live there, to raise children amidst the dizzying heights, it seems like madness. The murmurs begin, a cascade of doubt and fear. How would they secure the young? How would they transport water, or the kill from a hunt? La ignores them. She walks to a snarl of thickly on the vines. Their fibrous bodies as thick as her arm. She begins to work, her old, gnarled hands moving with a purpose they have not held for years. She spits one vine with a sharp flint, then begins to weave the strands together, creating a crude but immensely strong cordage. She is demonstrating, not commanding. This is the seed of an idea, a desperate gambit born of foresight. It is the very essence of niche construction. If the world is not safe, you must build a new one within it. Her actions are a silent argument against despair. She weaves, and in her weaving, the others see not just a rope, but a possibility. A father who lost his daughter 2 moons ago steps forward. He picks up another vine and begins to mimic lost motions, his clumsy fingers slowly learning the pattern. Then a young mother, her own infant clutched tied to her chest, joins him. The movement spreads. It is a slow, hesitant turn, the mobilization of a community teetering on the edge of extinction. They are a people of the earth, their entire history written in its soil. To abandon it is to abandon everything they know. But the ground is no longer theirs. It is the hunting ground of the dragon. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long, menacing shadows across the clearing, the sound of hacking and weaving fills the air. The clan has made its hard choice. They will not fight the monster below. They will rise above it. The world is now a symphony of wood stress and wind. Life has become a vertical challenge, a constant negotiation with gravity. The first platforms are crude, lashed to the ironwood's thickest limbs with the Leona ropes, a testament to desperate engineering. From the ground, it is a chaotic nest, an unlikely fortress suspended between the forest floor and the sky. But for the clan, it is sanctuary. This adaptation is a pivotal moment in the story of human evolution, a small but profound chapter in a vast ancient history. The children are tethered to the main trunks with shorter vines. Their play space now a terrifying drop away from the world they once knew. Every movement is deliberate. The casual stroll has been replaced by the careful, 3-point contact of arboreal locomotion. A drop till is a lost tool. A misstep is death. This new kingdom presents its own insidious dangers. The canopy is not uninhabited. Venomous snakes, masters of camouflage, become a new and intimate threat. A hunter, climbing with a freshly killed rat, is bitten, and his death is a slow, agonizing lesson for the others. They learn to drum on branches before grasping them, to watch for the unnatural stillness of a coiled predator. The logistical nightmare lost people had feared becomes their daily reality. Water must be hauled up in woven leaf baskets, a painstaking process that exposes the carriers to the dangers of the ground. The predation pressure has not vanished. It has merely changed its form. Yet, with each challenge, a flicker of humanity provides the answer. 2 mothers work together, one lowering a basket while the other watches for the dragon below. A team of males learns to butcher a kill on a lower branch, passing smaller pieces up the chain, an act of altruism that distributes risk. This is the raw material of society, forged in the crucible of necessity. The dragon does not relent. Its intelligence, honed by eons of unchallenged dominance in this ecosystem, is formidable. It understands that its prey has moved just out of reach. 4 days. It circles the base of the great tree, its massive head raised, the yellow, forked tongue tasting their scent on the wind. Then, it attacks the foundation of their new world. It slams its immense body against the trunk, a living battering ram. The entire tree shudders, and the platforms sway violently. A child screams, a sound of pure terror that cuts through the canopy. The clan clings to the branches, their knuckles white. The beast below is trying to shake them out like ripe fruit. It is a battle of will, of ancient brute force against nascent intellect. But they have learned. They do not panic. An elder, the same father who first joined line weaving, directs the clan's response. They have been preparing. They heave heavy, sharp-edged stones gathered from the riverbed and hauled up at great risk. The stones rain down, not aimed to kill, but to inflict pain and create a zone of unbearable harassment. One sharp flake slices the reptile's snout. It recoils with a deep, guttural hiss, a sound of frustrated fury. It slams the tree again, harder this time. But the barrage continues. They have changed the equation. The hunt is no longer easy. It is costly. After a final, defiant roar that shakes the very leaves, the great lizard turns and lumbers back into the undergrowth. It does not leave the forest, but it leaves them alone. A quiet, breathless calm settles over the canopy. They have not defeated the monster. They have merely made themselves not worth the effort. In the brutal economy of prehistoric life, that is the only victory that matters. From their new perch, the world looks different. The horizon, once obscured by the tangled undergrowth, is now a visible line, the promise of other places, other possibilities. They did not conquer the beast. They outthought it. They did not win a battle. They changed the battlefield. This act, born of grief and desperation, is a microcosm of the grander narrative of human ancestors. It is the story of how a physically unimposing hominid, armed with little more than a cooperative spirit and a spark of foresight, began to reshape the world to its will. The skills learned here, the advanced weaving, the structural engineering, the communal logistics, will not be forgotten. They are now etched into the clan's collective memory, a new set of tools far more powerful than any sharpened stone. Down below, the world of megafauna continues its ancient dance of predator and prey. But up here, in the cradle of the canopy, something new has taken root. A community that learned to look up, not in prayer, but with a plan. Their struggle is a distant echo, a faint tremor we can still feel in the bedrock of our own instincts. A reminder that the foundation of all our towering cities was first laid in the desperate hope of building a safer place for our children. This is the Chronicle. We do not celebrate the victor, only witness the survivor. And the silence that follows holds the question of what they became.